Hi, my name's Emily Roberts, and I've had the privilege over the last couple of months of assisting in compiling and posting your videos of encouragement. And I have had a great time with it, and I really hope you're enjoying it too. Today, I thought I would share a little bit about the idea of refreshment. So the other night, I was sitting on the couch after we put the kids to bed, and we'd had a pretty long day, and we were preparing for a pretty long week. I was making the grocery list and the task list, and also inexplicably at the same time scanning the news headlines. And suddenly I was just overcome by this sense of total depletion. Like my emergency toolkit was empty, not to mention my everyday regular toolkit. There's just so much going on in our world at any given time right now. We're experiencing chronic stress and weariness and deep grief and longing. I think we're all dealing with the chaos in our own ways. For me, I personally really enjoy a good problem to analyze and problem solve and dissect. So it has come as a surprise to me that amidst a lot of complexity, right now, one of the most nourishing things to my soul is to remember my relationship to God as a child. And over the past few months, one of the things that keeps occurring to me comes from C.S. Lewis's Narnia series in the book called Voyage of the Dawn Treader. There's one particular part of the story where Lucy, who's the youngest child, is exploring a castle, and she wanders into a room that has a book in it that's called the Magician's Book, and it's full of very powerful, deep magic. And she's flipping through the pages, and she finds one that is entitled "For the Refreshment of the Spirit." So here's how this part of the story reads. On the next page, she came to a spell for the refreshment of the spirit. The pictures were fewer here, but very beautiful. And what Lucy found herself reading was more like a story than a spell. It went on for 3 pages, and before she had read to the bottom of the page, she had forgotten that she was reading at all. When she had got to the 3rd page and come to the end, she said, "That is the loveliest story I've ever read or shall ever read in my whole life. Oh, how I wish I could have gone on reading it for 10 years. But when Lucy tries to go back and reread the story, she finds the pages won't turn back. And when she tries to recall it, the details feel fuzzy, and eventually it just sort of fades to a memory of a feeling. So shortly afterwards, the Jesus figure, which is the powerful Aslan, the lion, enters the room, and he and Lucy have a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, she asks him, "Shall I ever be able to read that story again? The one I couldn't remember? Will you tell it to me, Aslan? Oh, do. And he replies, "Indeed, yes. I will tell it to you for years and years." I love the way this chapter ends because it rings so true to me how we're not designed to be encouragement camels where we just get one big dose of encouragement and then have to trek through the desert for miles and miles. I think some days it's hard to remember what made our souls feel alive and where we found beauty. But he puts reminders of new refreshment for us out every single day. He tells us a story over and over again. My son has something called the Jesus Storybook Bible, and it's one way I love to hear the story retold to me. Here's an excerpt that comes at the end of the story of the fall. Before they left the garden, God whispered a promise to Adam and Eve. "It will not always be so. I will come to rescue you. And when I do, I'm going to do battle against the snake. I'll get rid of the sin and the dark and the sadness you let in here. I'm coming back for you. No matter what, in spite of everything, God would love his children with a never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love." And if that's not refreshing, I don't know what is. Have a good week.